Hey y'all. Today we're going to talk about Google's new AI overview search functionality that's rolling out across the United States already. This came out and was announced a few days ago. It's been in beta for a little while. We've talked about it a little bit before, and it used to be called Google's Generative Search Experience, or SGE. Now we're going to talk a bit about what it is, how it's going to impact you as a user or a business owner or an SEO agency, and what you can do to get better results on your website and not lose traffic to your site. Like I mentioned, Google AI Overviews is already being rolled out across the United States. They announced that it's also going to be rolled out to other countries later on this year. That means this is coming down the pipeline, whether you like it or not. This is going to change how we search on Google on our mobile devices and on our desktop. And I really think this is going to change everything in the Google ecosystem and how we use and interact with Google and other websites. So let's dive in and talk a little bit more about what it is and how we can make sure that your site's not going to lose visibility, traffic, or leads. What is Google AI Overviews? Well, like I mentioned earlier, it is a more production-ready version of SGE, or Search Generative Experience, from Google. And essentially what it is, it's a language learning model overview on top of Google's search algorithm. So Google's search is providing results, and their AI model is then taking those results and providing in a more contextual way and presenting it to you, hoping that essentially you're going to get better information based off the query that you put in. And how is this actually going to impact you as a end user? You're not going to see results directly to websites like you would before. You type in a question and you'd get typically the best results underneath all the ads. And then you would try to meander through a bunch of different websites and eventually find the answer you're looking for somewhere buried in a 2,000-word blog. Now Google's going to scan all of that, consolidate it all, and provide you that information right from Google's homepage. You'll never have to leave Google. Now, how does this benefit you, and how does this benefit Google? Because those are two very important things that Google's trying to balance. Ultimately, you have to remember Google might be a search engine, but they're also a company. And at the end of the day, profits matter. And if they're not going to make good money from their products, then it's not a viable product. And search is by far and large one of their biggest. Ad revenue being the main contributor to search. So they're looking for different ways to keep you on Google longer, because the longer you're on Google, the more money they can make from ad revenue. If you leave Google and go to a website, they're no longer making money from you. You've already left their ecosystem. And how is this going to impact you from a end user perspective? It's going to make your results that much better, at least hopefully in the long run. We know that AI is still in its infancy and it's still a little unstable, and you're going to get weird answers and weird queries. It's hit or miss. But I think the ultimate goal is to provide a better user experience in the end, which is both a win for Google and for us. Now, from a business owner's perspective, and someone who has multiple websites, has clients that have websites, and we all rely on our websites to bring in traffic and bring in leads, this is a little bit of a scary scenario, because essentially what's happening is we're losing that direct traffic. So when an end user scrolls down after searching for something that we provide, they're no longer going to click on our website. Google's going to provide them this overview, and it might reference our site and may not. And then they're done. They get the answer they want, and they don't even have to click on our site. They don't have to look for our business, and they move on with their day. And we've lost that potential lead. So how do business owners and agencies and people that just run sites, how are we going to mitigate this? How do we adjust to this new norm that's coming down the pipeline? And I think the most important thing to remember is that you need to diversify your portfolio. Just like investing, you have to have multiple ways that you are driving traffic to your site, that you're acquiring leads. And by doing that, you kind of future-proof yourself. Now, we also know that there are some things that Google is working on that should help drive traffic to your site going forward. With AI overviews, they're already talking about adding links and contextual references to their AI overview. This is going to provide an outlet for the target audience that is looking for your service or product that you offer, or answers to a question that they're asking, a way to be able to directly look and search and find more information by clicking to the site. And I'm hopeful, and according to Sundar, the CEO of Google, there's a higher click-through rate on internal links and content within Google's AI overview than there are outside of that. Now, to me, that seems pretty obvious, right? If Google's putting this AI overview in front of you and answering your query directly on the screen, you're looking at a full page worth of AI generated responses. And very few people are going to sit there and scroll down to the bottom to look for actual web results. So yeah, naturally, if they're putting the links and the content and references directly in the AI result, you're going to get a higher click-through rate. And hopefully we've mitigated for that by making sure that our results are showing up in these AI-generated responses. How do we do that? I think one of the most important ways is A, create topical authority. We already know just by what we've seen in the release that any site with little to no topical authority is just getting crushed, getting demolished and blown off of Google. And AI generated results are not populating any of those sites. So if you have low to no topical authority, that's one of the first big things you need to focus on. Additionally, we also know that Google is moving away essentially from organic results. So it's still important, and they are pulling in some context from organic results, but really the bigger focus here is SERPs. We saw it in Search Generative Experience when they were in beta, and SERPs essentially are the primary bread and butter of this generative experience in AI. They're taking that SERP feature, providing more content around it, and putting it in a more contextual way and presenting it to the target audience. So you want to make sure you focus on SERP features, good long form content that's informative, but also provides a unique experience and makes sure your content is different than everyone else's. In addition to that, I don't think it's worth discrediting Bing. Obviously, we all know Bing results are not anywhere near what Google is, but Bing is another search operator out there, and they do have their own SEO algorithm, and people are using it more and more, especially those that want to move away from all this generative AI experience. Even though Microsoft's got their own with partnership with OpenAI and they're integrating it, Microsoft's Bing is still very much in its infancy in comparison to Google as a giant behemoth search engine. So there has been a small transition, especially more recently, to Bing, and I don't think it's worth counting out yet. So if you haven't already, go set up a Bing Webmaster account and start working to optimize your content for both Google and Bing. I also think it's worth mentioning YouTube. YouTube search has not changed all that much in the last several years. In fact, I don't see it changing much going forward. It's still very easy to rank content on there, get organic results, and I think it's another great way to drive traffic to your site, especially when people start using YouTube more and more, looking for answers to questions that they have. The last one's a little bit more high level, but it would be a form of Parasite SEO, essentially ranking content on other high authority sites to drive traffic to your site. Think Reddit, Quora, Medium, those kind of sites are all easy ways to drive traffic, relevant traffic to your own website, almost sidestepping Google. And I think the best thing that we can do is just keep monitoring these results. Obviously, this is going to keep changing and there's going to be new iterations out constantly, especially with such a new platform and such a dramatic shift from how Google search used to work. So make sure you're monitoring your results in Google Analytics and Google Search Console. If you see something happen that's dropping your traffic significantly, start making adjustments now to accommodate any future drops and try to make sure that the rest of your content fits that same bill as you go forward writing more and more pieces. I think that it's also important to say that if you've just got a static site and you're not doing anything with it, chances are your topical authority is low to zero and you're not using your website the way that it should be used. Your website should be an extension of your business and should be a way for people to connect with you digitally. And if you're not using your website in a correct manner, then you're just throwing money away. And I don't think that's the right way to use a website. So if you're not writing content on your website, every single niche, every single industry, and every single business has content that they could provide to their target audience for free that would provide value to them. And if you think otherwise, put it in the comments. Let me know what industry you think is not worth writing content over. And I'm happy to have a conversation about that because I disagree. But let me know what you think about this new Google Search Generative Experience in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to talk more about this, especially as it continues to roll out. We're going to start experimenting with it and trying out different things, seeing if we can break it, and seeing if we can beat the system and still get great results on our website. So if you are a SEO agency, if you're a business owner, if you're a creative, you have questions, reach out, write in the comments, or just join a different SEO community where we're talking about these things and collaborating together so we can all figure this out together. Because this is a new Wild West that we're exploring, and we want to make sure that we're giving our clients the best results and getting the best results for ourselves as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.